The big fish is multitasking, y'all. He promoting and he training for a mega fight at the same time. And Errol Spence, he say, Shakur Stevenson, we on your ass. Yeah, we want Shakur Stevenson next. Frank Martin is ready. And if Devin Haney vacate the belts, we want Frank Martin versus Shakur Stevenson. Number 1 versus number 2. We're going to talk about that in this video. But before we do that, make sure that y'all hit my like button and subscribe to the channel if you're not already subbed to the channel. It's going down in boxing. And if we ain't getting big fights, we talking about getting the big fights. And y'all already know over there, the big fish, Mr. Man Down, he doing big things. He not only doing big things in the ring, he doing big things as a promoter. Now, Frank Martin, he got a tough fight coming up this weekend against a former Olympic medalist. Now, I don't know how to say his last name, but his first name is Artem. I ain't never seen him fight. He 12-0, but I mean, he was good enough to win a medal, so, hey, he's supposed to be good. I don't know. But Frank Martin, he got to fight this weekend. Once Frank Martin get past him, Frank Martin is looking to, beat this dude in devastating fashion. Frank Martin said he going in there this weekend and he trying to put this dude in the dirt, straight like that. He trying to get the knockout, the stoppage, whatever it may be. He not trying to have it go 12 rounds. So Frank Martin is trying to get an impressive victory this weekend against this guy. And we all know, despite what Devin Haney is saying, Devin Haney not fighting at 135 pounds no more. Shakur Stevenson has put in the mandatory to fight Devin Haney. And we know if it goes the purse bid, Devin Haney still ain't gonna fight at 135. Whatever Devin Haney do, he's moving up to 140 pounds to fight Regis or whoever else he may fight at 140. But he's not gonna be fighting at 135 no more. You know what I'm saying? Despite all of the bluffing and all the lies that's been told from Devin Haney and his camp and his cult fan base. It ain't going down. And I'm a Devin Haney fan, but I got to keep it 100. And that's all I do. That's all I know how to do. But with that being said, those belts are going to get dispersed. We know that Shakur Stevenson is the number 1 ranked in the WBC. And we know that Frank Martin, he want his shot at one of them straps. Frank Martin is undefeated. I believe he's 17-0 right now. And Errol Spence today, when he was doing his press conference for his mega fight versus Terence Crawford, he didn't forget to mention, watch Frank Martin this weekend. And after Frank Martin put in that work, yeah, we want the number 1 guy, right? If we can't get Devin Haney, which EJ even know that Devin Haney is moving up. You know what I'm saying? And I'm going to play y'all the audio for those who haven't heard it. But he let it be known. Yeah, we want Shakur Stevenson. That guy, we want that guy, Shakur Stevenson. It's going down. So they've officially called out Shakur Stevenson. Now, I know before people will say that they called out Shakur Stevenson before. But after they mentioned Shakur Stevenson's name, Errol Spence, he did another interview and he said, well, it really don't make sense right now for us to fight Shakur Stevenson because we can make a mega fight down the line. Also, Frank Martin did an interview and he said, yeah, I'm willing to fight Shakur also, but it really don't make sense because we can wait and let that fight play out to where both of us have bigger names in the sport and we can make a lot more money. But I guess, Errol Spence, his promoter, he think that time is now. Shakur Stevenson, he's getting a much bigger name. And Frank Martin, he's getting a much bigger name in the sport. And, hey, I don't mind. I want to see it. But what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to play y'all the little audio that Errol Spence, when he mentioned this going down. And then I'm going to come back and I'm going to cook on it. And I'm going to give y'all my take on the whole situation.
Hey, for sure. Make sure everybody watch Frank Martin fight. It's the WBC title eliminator. He's going to put on a great show and another great performance like he's been doing. And hopefully after this fight, he can fight for a title or the number 1 versus number 2 fight each other. And yeah, I know who that is. Who's the number 1 guy?
listen, the tip top, obviously, the tip top is Devin Haney. You know, whether or not he vacates, but right there with him is Gervonta Tank Davis. So,
okay, and who's under him?
Under Gervonta Tank Davis
for the WBC, who's under Devin for WBC?
Well, you have the Ghost right there as well. The Ghost is there.
But who's under Devin for WBC? WBC.
Who's the guy you're thinking about?
Huh?
Who?
Shakur. God damn it.
So what y'all heard is Brian Custer, he was trying to act like he ain't know who EJ was talking about. I don't know, maybe it just wouldn't come into his head at that point in time, but then it's funny because Terence Crawford beamed in out of nowhere and he was like, Shakur. You know who he talking about? He talking about Shakur. And Errol Spence, he get to cracking up laughing. Then EJ was like, man, okay, I see what you doing, Brian. You ain't really want to get no top-ranked fighter, no shine on this PBC, network. You ain't want to say his name. Okay, I get you. But yeah, we talking about Shakur Stevenson. Yeah, so he made it clear that they on Shakur's helmet. Frank Martin, he wants Shakur next, or let's say Errol Spence wants Frank Martin to fight Shakur Stevenson next. Those belts is gonna be vacant, and now it's the time. So why not make one of the biggest fights? This fight could be huge. Now let me say something about this, right? This is my opinion. Yes, I would love to see Frank Martin and Shakur Stevenson get it on. I think both of them fighters are great fighters. You know what I'm saying? Both of them are great fighters. I would love that fight. But I think that PBC, right, they're dropping the ball with Frank Martin. You know what I'm talking about? I think they kind of dropping the ball. I know Errol Spence promotes him, and what I'm talking about, before you get to type in all that shit, listen to what I'm talking about. I feel that they could have done a way better job right now with Frank Martin. I believe that they should have put Frank Martin on the undercard of Errol Spence and Terence Crawford. I also said when I did my live, I believe that they could have made Jerome Boots Ennis, the co-main event on Errol Spence versus Terence Crawford. I feel that they could have made the undercard for Errol Spence and Terence Crawford a lot better, and putting Frank Martin on the undercard, it would have blew his status up big. You know what I'm saying? Because everybody is going to be watching that card. That card might do 1 million pay-per-view buys. And imagine if it does 1 million or over 1 million pay-per-view buys. Imagine all of the eyes that would be on Frank Martin. And then that would make the Frank Martin and Shakur Stevenson fight much bigger. Way, way bigger. You know what I'm talking about? If Frank Martin and Shakur Stevenson do fight now, what's going to happen is the fight is not big enough for them to do a cross-promotional, type thing, because you do a cross-promotional, right? You're going to have Showtime and ESPN put Frank Martin and Shakur Stevenson on pay-per-view. That fight ain't big enough to do that. So what's going to have to happen is going to go to purse bid. And then the promotional companies, they're going to go ahead and bid to see what network has that fight. And we probably won't see the fight happen. You know what I'm saying? When it go down like that, man, it's a lot of politics involved. It's a lot of bullshit involved, and might stop us from seeing that fight happen. But if Frank Martin had been on that undercard, that fight would have been much, much bigger. Now, I know that they giving Frank Martin, his own card. They let him main event his own card, this weekend. And it's probably going to do well, but not near as many odds is going to be on Frank Martin as it would if he was on the undercard of Errol Spence and Terence Crawford. So that's why I feel that where they dropped the ball. They should have put him on the undercard as a co-main event, if not Jerome Boots Ennis. You know what I'm saying? So, and I know, right? I know. I'm in my 40s. I've been following boxing, in boxing for a long, long time. And I know back in the day, that's how they used to build up mega fighters. They would put them as co-main events in other mega fights. You know what I'm saying? That's how Canelo got built up. That's how all of the fighters, right, that we know from back in the day got built up. Pernell, Sweet Pete Whitaker, Roy Jones, all of them got built up like that. Roy Jones used to be on the undercard of Chavez fights and things like that. So, you know, man, that's how they need to start back building up these fighters so casual fans will know who they are. Because when you talk about pay-per-views like Terence Crawford and Errol Spence, Gervonta Tank Davis and Ryan Garcia's, casual fans are tuning into those pay-per-views. That's how they get to know about these other fighters. You know what I'm saying? These other fighters need to gain a casual fan base so we can get a Shakur Stevenson and a Frank Martin, and that fight can be as big like they want it to be. But anyway, man, I would love to see the fight regardless. I'm not so sure that the fight gonna happen, but we'll see how it play out. But one thing I know is Shakur ain't gonna duck no smoke, and Frank Martin ain't gonna duck no smoke. But we already see, man, that Errol Spence, he want all the smoke for Frank Martin, and Frank Martin down with the business. You feel what I'm saying? Y'all leave y'all comments in the comment section for me. I want to know what y'all think about this. I want to know who y'all got winning. Do y'all got Shakur beating Frank Martin, or do y'all got Frank Martin beating Shakur? And do y'all want to see this fight right now, next? Drop the comment in the comment section. Don't forget to hit my like button. Subscribe to the channel if you're not already a sub. And y'all already know how I do. There you go, talking that boxing again. And I'm gone, y'all.
So everybody, right, got the top.